back of a classroom in a Catholic high school. A youth worker had been brought in to speak to the girls about their sexual relationships. She took off a piece of sticky tape and told them that it represented their connections with boys. The first time, it sticks really good. But of course, if that first relationship doesn't work out, then you will be less adhesive for your next partner. And of course, with each subsequent partner, you will be less adhesive until eventually you will not be able to stick to anything. Now, she didn't actually say it, but anyone following the sticky tape analogy can understand that what she was implying, that they, unable to stick, would be worthless. You're horrified, right? You're thinking, what a weird and backward way to talk about sex and women. And we like to think, in this secular crowd in liberal Amsterdam, that we are well beyond sticky tape attitudes. We know that sex isn't wrong. We're totally comfortable talking about sex. In fact, let's play a game. It's called Fuck, Marry, or Kill. It's super fun. I heard some 13-year-olds playing it just last week. What's wrong? You're not into it? Are you frigid? Looking at the skanky way you dress, you don't seem so pure. What's your problem? Why are you acting so thirsty? You're such a tease. You know everyone thinks you're a whore. You're such a pussy. You'll be a virgin forever. What's wrong? I thought that we were cool with sex, but there's the rub. The words I hear out of the mouths of young people betray the truth that long after the contraceptive pill, the decline of religion, and the feminist fight have taught us that sex outside of marriage is fine, the stereotypes and myths around sex still linger. We think we're open-minded because we don't blush at the scripted sex scenes of Hollywood. But there is still so much puritanical shame which fogs our view of our own and others' behavior. I'm standing in front of you not as an expert in biology or psychology or anthropology. I am just a high school English teacher who worries about the young people in my care. I worry because from the conversations I overhear in classrooms to the legal battles which are broadcast across the globe, it is clear that we still believe myths and stereotypes around sex which reduce intricate individuals to flat labels. It's archaic and it's cruel. But nothing will change unless we understand how the myths and stereotypes we still believe about sex make us no better than the generations who come before us. I'm going to speak openly and honestly about sex. There are going to be some moments that make you squirm. There are actually maybe going to be some moments that really upset you. And if that is the case for you, I will not be offended if you need to step outside. But I hope that most of you will stay and unpack some of these myths and stereotypes that still exist in a society that we are pretending is well past that. Let's start with a word that I am sick to death of hearing. Let me use it in a sentence. Oh, she's such a slut. First recorded in 1402, this word means a dirty woman. We know it and its synonyms, skank, tart, and whore, mean a woman who engages in more sex or or with more sexual partners than what her society deems appropriate. This word has been used to shame women for expressing their sexuality and to belittle them for exploring all the wondrous potential of all the millions of nerve endings tangling through our bodies. Sluts scare people because they are women who have chosen to deviate from the ancient path set for women across continents and religions of virgin, wife, and mother. That script casts women as the possessions of others. The virgin is protected by her father, and then she is given away to her husband. And if she performs her wifely duties properly, then she will sacrifice that body for her children. The slut owns her own body and chooses to share it. And that makes people so angry. Why? Why is it anybody else's business what a woman does with her own body? Why can't we accept a woman expressing through sex her basic right to body autonomy? Why do we accept the slander of her as unclean or morally corrupt? And the thing that really bothers me about this word is usually I hear it from girls' mouths. Ladies, you can claim equality and sexual liberation all you want, but if you are using this word to degrade our sisters, then you are shackling us all in the dark ages. And what really bothers me about this word is that it teaches us all that girls are not supposed to enjoy sex or to seek it. And that if they do, they are unworthy of love and respect. Based on that complete lie, boys are taught that nice girls will play hard to get, and they just need to push harder to get what they want. No, wait, boys are permitted to need sex, while girls are smeared with the slut brush if they seem too keen to do it. When women aren't allowed to enjoy sex, men are allowed to lie and cheat and bribe and push and force to take it. When an inexperienced girl is revered as pure, while a boy needs to gain sexual experience in order to become a man, we have a serious problem. This sexual script in our gender roles is absurd. Newsflash! Both men and women fit into the broad category of human beings. In fact, we've recently come to appreciate that there are a range of other genders which also fit under that category. Some human beings have voracious sexual appetites. Others have more temperate libidos. Some do not become sexually active until into their 30s. Others remain sexually active well into their 90s. Some people have bizarre fetishes. Some people struggle with impotence. Some people are polyamorous, while others are genuinely and deeply satisfied with a lifetime of monogamy. We are all unique creatures, and so the myths and stereotypes around sex are stale and inaccurate. Regardless of penises, vaginas, clitorises, or testicles, we all have diverse sexualities, varied preferences, personal limits, and different libidos. Now, slut is a term reserved exclusively for women, but I want to make it clear that for the rest of my talk, there will be no more gendered language, because I'm trying to shred these stereotypes and match these myths, and I'm going to start by making it clear that what I'm about to say applies to every person in this room, regardless of your gender, sexuality, or personal preference. To all those ancient, inaccurate lies, I say no. Say no. No. Say no. No. Say no. No. Never be ashamed to say no. Say it if you're not ready. Even if things are getting hot and heavy and you think it's too late, it's not too late. Say no. Say it if you are uncomfortable with some aspect of the situation. The setting, the timing, your mood, their attitude. Say no. Say it if the other person refuses to use a condom. Their sensitivity or the heat of the moment is not worth getting sick over. Say no. Say it especially if you think that they are going to be angry with you for refusing them, because that is all the evidence you need that this person is not worth sharing this experience with. Say no. And when it comes to sex, this word is so complex and controversial. Why? Because most human communication is non-verbal. Not only must you be ready to say this word, but you need to hear it and see it and feel it from your potential partners. If they won't look at you, if they are tense or trying to make themselves small, if they are pushing you away, if they are wasted, if their face is twisted in pain, if they are unconscious, if they are crying, hear and see and feel their no, and no, you never want to have sex that way. Know that stepping away, though perhaps disappointing and awkward, is always better than being selfish, ignorant, and hurtful. Sex is supposed to be generous, attentive, and pleasurable. If the person you are with is saying no, verbally or non-verbally, it is not going to turn out that way. In fact, what you're about to do isn't actually sex, it's rape. Respect the human beings who live inside the bodies that you are so keen to rub up against. Say yes. Yes. Say yes. Yes. Say yes. Yes. Explore your sexuality with kindness and curiosity. Enjoy long walks and deep talks and the electricity of your thighs singing just beside theirs. Feel the warmth of a hand held, a heart open, and a moment shared. Do not be ashamed of your desires. They are part of your identity. Afford others the respect that you expect in return. Say yes clearly and help your partner out by letting them know that you are enjoying yourself every step of the way. Rest assured that if you say yes to one thing, that doesn't mean that you are saying yes to everything. This is a lame and lazy myth that will not die. If you have been making out with them in their room for the past 20 minutes, that does not mean you have to progress to oral sex. If you are happy to go down on them, that does not mean that you have consented to any other form of penetration. If you have had sex with them before, that does not mean they are entitled to have sex with you again. At any point, it is completely fine for either party to decide that they have had enough. If you have been clear and you have been honest, you are not a tease, you have not led them on, you owe them nothing but basic respect. The very respect that any partner of yours should willingly give in return. Say yes to owning your own body and enjoying it on your own terms. Each person's body is their own, and so it's awful to cast judgment on people for the sex they may or may not be having. Just like religions with their commandments, we set rules around sex and condemn those who break them. Perhaps it's not as dire as damnation, but a snide comment, a sideways glance, or a cruel joke can burn another as surely as hellfire. All this talk about sex that people are having, but what if you're genuinely not into it? What if you expressed your ideas in ways that are not physical? What if the idea of getting naked and sweaty and out of breath with another human being kind of grosses you out? Is there something wrong with you? No! You're just a human being. A glorious cocktail of unique genetics and myriad social influences. You are you, and you do not have to follow the sexual script that is blared at you from music videos and movies and faithfully echoed by some of your peers. You are not frigid because you prefer for hands to stay above the waist. You are not a player because you've slept with more people than we can count. You are not a prude because you prefer to stay away from public displays of affection. You are not a pussy because you walked away when it was clear that the other person wasn't into it. You are not pure because you haven't had a penis inside you. You are not a loser because you haven't done it yet. You are not a slut because you are already onto your next partner. And you are not a tease for being friendly and not interested in anything more than that. These words that are still in use betray the truth, that though we have come so far in our understanding of individuals as sexual beings, we have still got a long way to go. But we're starting today. Own your body. Explore its multitudes. Express its truth. Do not be ashamed of your desires or what makes you feel good. Be safe, conscientious, and smart. Protect your body and those of your partners when you share your bodies. Communicate clearly and listen to different perspectives. Know that you do not have to understand someone's choices in order to respect the person who is making them. Ask questions rather than casting judgments. In doing so, I hope that if you are seeking sexual partners, that you will find those who match your unique puzzle piece in this glorious jigsaw of humanity. You do not have to marry them, but I hope that you will be generous and attentive as you seek pleasure together, even if it doesn't last forever. As you discover others, you will discover yourselves, and you will find a situation which suits you best. I'm not saying you will never get lost, but I promise you will never be worthless. No matter what anyone says to you, you will never be a label or a piece of sticky tape. You will always be a human.